As soon as Alex read the documents, he started sweating. He stood up in anger and threw the file on the table. And shouted, "How dare you give him my position?" He couldn't even finish what he was saying. That's when Ranvir, knocking him in the middle, calmly put a tag on his chair and said, "Because Diego deserves this position." Then, bowing forward, Ranvir said, "Cowards like you don't deserve this position. You hide behind a woman and attack her." Ranvir, staring at him, said in a cold voice, "From now on, no one will deal with Alex in any way. And this information should be spread to everyone. If anyone tries to go against me, then he will be the cause of his own destruction. This is the warning of Underworld King Ranvir Roy Kapoor. Meeting is over." With this, Ranvir stood up and went out of the room with his coat. Alex was sitting with his head held high. His blabbering became the reason for his destruction. Ranvir returned to his private room and went to the washroom to take a shower. After a while, he came out wearing a black loafer and lay down on the bed. He had closed his eyes. At that time, he was very tired. There was only one beautiful face in front of his closed eyes. And that face was his peace, his love for Mahi. At that time, Ranvir's face was looking very calm. And there was a smile on his lips. He opened his eyes and got up from the bed and picked up his phone from the table. He took the phone and sat down with the tape from the bed's headrest. And started checking the notifications on the phone. Mahi had sent many messages. She had many missed calls too, which were from yesterday. Ranvir opened the messages and started reading them one by one. The first message was, "Ranvir, I am very upset with you. And now I will never talk to you." The message was sent after a while. "Why do you always do this to me? You always leave me alone." The third message was, "I don't feel like being alone in the room. Please come quickly. But that doesn't mean that I am not upset with you. I still won't talk to you." The fourth message was, "Ranvir, I miss you so much. Please come. I won't even get angry with you. Please, please, please." All the messages were sent within a few hours. Ranvir couldn't stay without smiling. He smiled and said, "My cute little boy. Love you, child." The last message was from Rudra and Vedant. Vedant's message was, "Ranvir, come back as soon as the work is done. Mahi has kept us all waiting here." Rudra's message was, "Bro, Mahi's BV mode is full on. She has warned us all that we should all take your class." Similarly, Ruhi and Sarika had also messaged Ranvir, which was showing that Mahi is still an angry bird. Ranvir was laughing after reading everyone's messages. He said while looking at Mahi's pic on his phone, "I am coming soon, dear. To get rid of all your anger." Saying this, he kissed Mahi's pic. And in the same way, while looking at Mahi's pic, sleep took him in its arms. The next day, Mahi got ready and went to college. After attending her class, she went out and started discussing something with her classmate Ruchi. Then she said bye to him and moved on. She had just come out of the corridor when someone grabbed her hand and pulled her towards them. Mahi didn't understand what had just happened. She went straight and bumped into someone's chest. Then she heard a loud sound of something falling behind her. Mahi looked back in shock. Then her eyes widened in fear. On the other hand, Priya, Ruhi and Tina, who were coming to get Mahi, when they saw all this, they came running to her. Priya asked in fear, "Mahi, are you all right?" But Mahi was looking at that heavy pot instead of answering her. The pot fell down and broke. She got scared thinking what if it had fallen on her? She turned around and saw the person who had saved her while she was alive. It was Ankit, who was standing in front of her. Mahi's worry was clearly visible in his eyes. Mahi said to herself, "Thanks Ankit, if you weren't here today, I don't know what would have happened to me." Hearing Mahi, Ruhi, Tina and Priya started looking at Ankit. Ankit smiled and said, "Mahi, even though you don't consider me as your friend, but I considered you as my friend when we met for the first time. And as your friend, it is my duty. Then he extended his hand towards Mahi and said, now you will be my friend, right? Mahi saw Ankit's extended hand. She was feeling a little uncomfortable. How did she tell Ankit that why he didn't accept Ankit's friendship? But today her heart was telling her that there is nothing wrong in making friends with Ankit. After all, he is a good boy. Thinking this, she also extended her hand. Mahi smiled and said, okay, friends. The happiness of Ankit's face was worth seeing, as if he had found something precious. After a while, Mahi, Ruhi, Tina and Priya went to the canteen from there. After reaching the canteen, the four of them gave their orders and started talking to each other. Then Priya asked, Mahi, do you already know that boy? Mahi said while checking her phone, yes, I met him just 2-3 days ago. Then he wanted to befriend me, but I refused. Ruhi said, by the way, Mahi, if he had not been there today, I don't know what would have happened. Mahi thought for a while and said, okay, now no one should know this at home, otherwise everyone will get worried for no reason. Anyway, I am fine. After that, Ruhi nodded her head. Priya said a little relaxed, finally, the exam is over today. It feels like I have got freedom now. I will complete my sleep first. Ruhi said, I will do shopping, roaming, everything. Tina also told her plan and said, and I will go to my home for a few days. I haven't met my parents for many days. Mahi was lost in her own thoughts. Ruhi said to her face, don't you have any plan? Mahi first looked at Ruhi and then said, I haven't thought of anything yet. Anyway, I am going to focus on my further studies. For a while, they kept talking like this. Then everyone left the college. After dinner at night, Mahi came to her room. But looking at her empty room, her mind was sad again. She stepped towards the balcony and started looking at the sky lying on the sofa. Today, she was feeling sad about the weather. Mahi and Ranvir had become a habit of each other, which Mahi was feeling today. The sky was absolutely clear, which made the stars look clear. The shining full moon between the stars was looking very beautiful. Mahi was looking at the moon for a while and was remembering the moments spent with Ranvir. When Mahi looked at the moon, she went into a deep sleep. She didn't even know. At 11 o'clock at night, Ranvir reached the mansion. Everyone had gone to bed by then. He went straight to his room. He wanted to meet Mahi the most. As soon as he opened the door of the room, he started looking for Mahi. But Mahi was not in the room. Ranvir took off his coat and put it on the sofa and looked around the room. Then his eyes went to the open door of the balcony. Ranvir thought that Mahi must be in the balcony. Thinking this, he smiled again and he stepped towards the balcony. Mahi was sleeping on the sofa like a little rabbit. Maybe she was feeling cold. Ranvir sat next to her on his knees and started looking at her cute little face. In the moonlight, Mahi's bright face was shining like a diamond. Ranvir went behind his ears with his fingers with the hair coming on his cheeks and started caressing his delicate cheeks with his thumb. Feeling Ranvir's touch, Mahi's lips were filled with a lovely smile. Seeing this, Ranvir couldn't help but smile. He put his lips on Mahi's forehead and kissed her. As soon as Ranvir moved away from her, Mahi's eyes slowly opened. Her eyes met the eyes of her handsome husband and slowly came out of her lips. Ranvir. Ranvir picked up Mahi in his arms and took her inside the room. That's when Mahi remembered her anger. And she also remembered that she has to fight with her watch and Ranvir. She tried to get off Ranvir's lap and said, "Put me down. I'm still angry with you." Ranvir threw Mahi on the bed and took off his shirt and said, "Sweetheart, I'm here to get rid of your anger." Mahi picked up the pillow next to her and threw it towards Ranvir and said, "Don't come near me. You always leave without telling me." Ranvir moved to the side to avoid the pillow attack and took off his shirt and started moving towards Mahi on the bed. Mahi moved back and said, "I told you not to come near me." Ranvir bowed down to her and said, "Do you think you can stop me?" Saying this, Ranvir smiled. Mahi was looking into Ranvir's eyes and she was bowing down to him. Ranvir's coming closer made Mahi's heart beat faster. Her face was turning red with shame. Mahi put her hand on Ranvir's chest and tried to stop him. She said in her stammering tongue, "Yes, I can stop you." But Mahi knew deep inside that whenever Ranvir has to do what he wants, he does it. It's not up to Mahi to stop him. Ranvir held Mahi's hands and put them on his head and held them tightly in one hand and bowed down to her face and said, "It's useless to try. Because you won't be able to stop me today." With this, Ranvir started looking at Mahi's rose-like lips with very intense eyes. Seeing this, he wanted to touch her lips in his heart. Before he could touch her lips, Mahi turned her face to the other side. With Mahi's action, Ranvir saw her laughing mischievously. Then he kissed her soft cheeks and bit her. This made Mahi's mouth scream a little. Mahi started trying to get rid of Ranvir's grip. But Ranvir's strong grip was not in Mahi's delicate hands. Ranvir held Mahi's cheeks and turned her face to his side and took her soft lips in his lips. Mahi kept smirking for a while. Then later, she herself started getting lost in his feelings. Seeing Mahi not opposing him, Ranvir's lips smiled. Mahi slowly opened her eyes and her eyes met Ranvir's eyes, who was looking at him with desire. Mahi's eyes were also intoxicated, which was increasing her beauty. Her eyes were closed again with intoxication, which made Ranvir's lips smile again. Ranvir now started kissing her like a wall. Mahi was also completely lost in Ranvir. While loving each other, both did not realize the time. At 4 in the morning, Ranvir neither slept himself nor let Mahi sleep. Was the accident with Mahi in college just an accident or someone's conspiracy? What will be Ranvir's reaction after learning about Ankit and Mahi's friendship? Will Mahi have to endure his anger again? To know more, keep listening to Oh Baby only on Love Pulse Diaries.